Imagine this. A man buries his wife with his own hands, says goodbye forever. But years later, he sees her again, alive, in Mecca. Was she a real person, a spirit, or something beyond human understanding? And here's the chilling part. The night she died, she told him, "You can have me, or our child, not both." So what did he actually get back? Years later. Stay till the end, because this story will mess with your mind. Dear friends, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to everyone joining us from within the country and abroad to listen to real-life supernatural stories. On behalf of the Dark Truth Story YouTube channel, I warmly welcome you all. Dear viewers, today I'm going to share a terrifying and spine-chilling real-life supernatural story from the life of a man named Muhammad Murshid Hossain, from the port city of Chittagong. Today's story is titled, "A Husband Encounters His Wife in Mecca, 16 Years After Her Death." A husband who performed his wife's funeral prayer, who placed her body into the grave with his own hands. Then how is it possible that he suddenly meets his deceased wife again in a sacred place like Mecca? This is a shocking true incident from Chittagong that many of you may have already heard about. But the hidden truth behind this story, most people don't know. Through today's story, I will reveal the mystery behind that widely discussed incident. We often say that someone looked just like a real human, but was it truly a human being? Or was it somehow the spirit of his wife, silently appearing before her husband in the holy land of Mecca? I hope each of you will listen to this entire story from beginning to end. And after hearing it, don't forget to share your thoughts about Brother Murshid Hossain in the comment section. Thank you all. Dear friends, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Murshid Hossain, and I am from the port city of Chittagong. Before I begin my life story, let me tell you a little about my family. In my family, there is my father, my mother, my uncle and aunt, my cousins, and my grandmother. I also have one younger brother and two younger sisters. Altogether, we are 4 siblings. Our family is a wealthy one, living in a village near Chittagong City. My father is a well-known businessman, and he owns multiple businesses in Chittagong, both in his name and under other names. Now, I will begin my story from my childhood. When I was very young, as I was slowly growing up, there was something very disturbing that I used to witness in my family. You might be surprised to hear this. Since childhood, I was terrified of my grandmother. I would never go into her arms. The moment I saw her, I would scream and sometimes even faint. My grandmother had matted hair. Her hair was thick and tangled in a way that looked quite frightening. And more importantly, my grandmother was a well-known traditional healer in our area. People used to come from far away to seek her help for problems related to spirits, jinn, and supernatural issues. People believed she could solve any problem. Many even said that my grandmother was the leader of jinn and fairies. I grew up witnessing all of this, and I also heard many stories from my parents. My grandmother would remain insane for about 4 to 5 months every year, and completely normal for the rest of the time. When she was normal, she was incredibly kind, praying 5 times a day, treating everyone with warmth. People came from far away, and she would solve their problems. But when she lost control, she became terrifying, angry, aggressive, even disrespectful toward my father and uncles. She had this condition even before I was born. They took her to India, to spiritual healers, to doctors. Some said it was jinn possession, others said mental illness. But there was something no one could explain. She knew things she shouldn't know. If someone sat in front of her, she could tell where they came from and why. I saw this with my own eyes. And there was something even stranger. When she was in her mad state, unknown women would come and take care of her. We didn't know who they were. They would bathe her, feed her, take care of everything, and then disappear. To this day, no one knows who they were. This is how I grew up, surrounded by mystery. Eventually, I grew older. I took my SSC exam, but my results weren't good. So I left studies and joined my father's business. Then one day, my father decided it was time for me to get married. My father was very arrogant. He always judged based on wealth, status, and background. He rejected many proposals. Then one day, my grandmother, in her insane state, called my father. She handed him a piece of paper, an address, in Cox's Bazaar, and said, "This is the girl Murshid will marry." My father got furious. How does a mad woman know an address from so far away? He refused to believe it, but my mother insisted, "At least go and check." Eventually, my mother went herself, and when she came back, everything changed.
After my mother returned from Cox's Bazaar, we all gathered around her. We kept asking, "What did you see? Where did you go?" At first, she said nothing. She just sat there, silent. Then finally, she spoke. At that address, she found a mosque caretaker, a simple man. He had one daughter. Her name was Roxana. My mother said something I'll never forget. "I've never seen a girl this beautiful in my life. Tall, fair, with an incredibly soft and captivating face. Anyone would fall for her instantly. But there was a problem. Her family was extremely poor. Her father earned very little as a mosque caretaker. The moment my father heard this, he got furious. "I will never marry my son into such a poor family." My mother tried to explain. If the girl is good, that's what matters. But he refused. Meanwhile, my mother had completely started believing my grandmother. She kept insisting, "This marriage must happen." Then my younger uncle stepped in. He was a very aggressive man. He said, "If my mother chose her, then that's where the marriage will happen." No matter what my father said, he wouldn't listen. One day, they took me to Cox's Bazaar. At that time, I didn't even want to get married. I just wanted to enjoy life with my friends. But the moment I saw Roxana, everything stopped. I wasn't myself anymore. She was unbelievably beautiful. Her eyes, her face, everything pulled me in. Right then and there, I made my decision. I would marry her. We exchanged rings that same day. Within a week, the wedding was arranged. My uncle even financially supported her family. My father still refused. The night before the wedding, he left the house in anger. But nothing stopped. We got married. Roxana entered my life. And honestly, my life changed. She was deeply religious, prayed regularly, woke up for tahajjud, recited the Quran. She respected me deeply. Our married life felt perfect. I thought I was the happiest man alive. But there was something strange. My grandmother was never happy seeing her. There was always a quiet sadness in her eyes. I asked her many times, "Grandma, why aren't you happy?" But she never answered. She would just look at me, smile faintly, and say nothing. A few months passed after the marriage. Our life together was going well. But there was one problem. We couldn't have a child. Sometimes I would ask Roxana, "Why aren't we having a baby?" And she would respond in a strange way. "Do you want a child? Or do you want me?" I would say, "I want both." Then she would say, "No, you can't have both. You'll either have me, or my child." I never understood what she meant. I thought maybe she was joking, or just speaking oddly. Time went on like this. Then one day, we found out she was pregnant. The whole family was overjoyed. But strangely, from the day she found out, she wasn't happy. She became quiet. She stopped smiling. She barely talked. Whenever I asked, she would say, "I told you before. You can't have both." I still didn't take it seriously. Then one Friday night, she cooked my favorite food. She forced me to pray with her. Then she said, "Come, put your hand on my stomach." I did. She asked, "Tell me, will it be a boy or a girl?" I said, "Whatever Allah gives. But I'd love a daughter." She went silent for a moment, then said, "Then it will be a girl." There was something strange in her voice. That same night, we had an argument. She got angry and said, "You'll lose me. And you'll lose your child too." That was the first time she spoke to me like that. I got angry and left the house. I spent the rest of the night outside. When I came back in the morning, the door to my room was locked from inside. No matter how much we knocked, there was no response. Finally, we broke the door open. Inside, Roxana was lying on the bed, motionless. I called her. No response. Her body was stiff. In that moment, I knew she was dead. I screamed. The doctor confirmed she had died hours ago, and the baby didn't survive either. In that moment, I felt like I had lost everything. After Roxana's death, our entire house fell into deep grief. I felt like I had lost my sanity. I couldn't think of anything without her. As they were preparing her for burial, I was sitting there, crying uncontrollably. At that moment, my grandmother walked out of her room. She looked at me and said, "Why are you crying?" I replied in shock, "My wife is dead. Why wouldn't I cry?" She calmly said, "Your wife is not dead. She has gone to Mecca." I was stunned. I said, "What are you saying?" "She's right here. We're about to bury her." But she repeated, "She's not dead. She's in Mecca." No one took her seriously. Everyone thought she was just speaking like a mad person. We buried Roxana. But even after that, whenever I went to her grave and cried, my grandmother would come and say, "Don't cry. Your wife is in Mecca." Those words stayed in my mind, but I still didn't believe them. Time passed. Eventually, my grandmother also passed away. Then my father took me to Saudi Arabia for business and for Hajj. I performed Hajj, then started working in Medina. Years passed. One day, I was invited to a Bengali family's home in Mecca. It was around 11 p.m. Suddenly, I heard strange sounds from the next apartment, like someone groaning in pain. I asked the homeowner, "What is that sound?" He said, "There's a Pakistani family next door. The wife is mentally unstable. She makes those noises." I didn't think much of it, but that night, I had a dream. Roxana. She was hitting me, over and over again. I woke up. It was morning. I said, "I want to see that woman." They took me there. I stood at the door, looked at her, and instantly screamed, "That's my wife!" I kept shouting, "That's Roxana! That's my wife!" Everyone was shocked. The homeowner said, "No, she's a Pakistani woman. That's not her." But I couldn't accept it. I brought photos, our wedding pictures. Everyone was stunned. She looked exactly the same. The same face, the same person. Only one difference. She was slightly taller. I lost control. I kept saying, "That's my wife. That's my wife." But officially, she was someone else. And then, something even more terrifying happened. One day, that woman disappeared, completely vanished. The door was locked, but she was gone. No trace on CCTV. Nothing. I broke down completely. I returned to Bangladesh. And then I heard something chilling. People in my village claimed they had seen Roxana sitting beside her own grave at night, silently. To this day, I still don't understand what really happened in my life. What did I see? And sometimes, even now, I sit beside her grave at night, hoping maybe I'll see her again. When I returned home, one question kept replaying in my mind. What did I actually see? Was that really Roxana, or just someone who looked exactly like her? But deep down, I felt it was her, because I knew her, her eyes, her presence. I couldn't be wrong. Then, even stranger things started happening in the village. People began saying they had seen Roxana sitting beside her own grave at night. Some said she was walking around the graveyard. Others even claimed they saw my grandmother with her. Hearing these stories gave me chills. I went to the graveyard many nights myself, but I never saw her. Then one day, something even more mysterious happened. One evening, my mother was near the pond beside our house. She suddenly saw a little girl standing there. She looked about 3 or 4 years old, wearing torn clothes, but incredibly beautiful. My mother asked, "Who are you?" The girl didn't answer. She just smiled. Later we found out, a woman had been begging all day with that child, but she never came back. So we kept the girl at our house. The next morning, the girl was missing. After searching, we found her, sitting beside Roxana's grave, quiet, as if she was praying or communicating. We were shocked. Why would she go there? From that day, I kept her with me. I named her Ruku. She is still with me today. I never got married again, because I had promised Roxana I would never replace her. Now Ruku has grown up. She has memorized the Quran. She loves me deeply. But even today, I don't know. Who is Ruku? Where did she come from? Did Roxana really die? Or was she still alive somewhere? And the biggest question, why did my grandmother say, "Your wife is in Mecca"? And why did I see her in Mecca? I still have no answers. Maybe some mysteries are not meant to be understood. So now you've heard the full story. And the question is, what do you think? Who did Murshid really see? Did Roxana actually die? Or did she exist in another form? And that little girl, Ruku, was she just an abandoned child? Or was she somehow connected to everything? And the most chilling question, why did the grandmother keep saying, "Your wife is in Mecca"? Was it just coincidence? Or did she know something that no one else could understand? Because sometimes, there are things in this world that can't be explained, not by science, not by logic. And this story is one of them. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like the video. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think really happened? And for more real mysterious stories, make sure to subscribe. We'll be back with another story soon. Until then, stay safe and take care. Goodbye.